Have you ever met someone who doesn't just think, but sees the world differently? Someone who picks up hidden meanings, senses people's intentions instantly, and questions things most people don't even notice. If you've ever wondered why some minds feel older, deeper, or more intense than the rest, you're about to understand what psychologists call the gifted mind. This isn't about being better than anyone else, but it is about operating on a completely different frequency. For many, this mind is a beautiful tool, but for those who grew up too fast, it can also be a heavy weight to carry. Before we dive into the depth of this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because the more you understand the mechanics of your mind, the more you understand why you feel the way you do. 1. Their brain isn't faster, it's deeper. A gifted mind doesn't just race, it dives. When most people stop at the surface of an idea, your mind keeps going. You link ideas, patterns, and possibilities like a puzzle only you can see. One thought becomes 10, 10 become 50. Your mind is a constant chain reaction of what if, why, and what does this really mean? This is what psychologists call divergent thinking. While the world sees a simple object or a straightforward conversation, you see a web of connections. This is why you are often creative, curious, and incredibly hard to fool. Your brain is wired to search for truth, not just information. But the downside of this depth is that you can never just do something. Every task, every word, and every interaction has layers of meaning that you feel obligated to unpack. It's not that you're overthinking, it's that you're deep thinking in a world that is often content with staying shallow. 2. They feel emotion like it's turned up to maximum volume. A gifted person doesn't just think deeper, they feel deeper. There's a term for this called overexcitability. It means that where others feel a pinch, you feel the whole weight of the world. Joy hits you harder, almost like a spiritual experience, but pain also lasts longer, and disappointment cuts much sharper than it seems for those around you. This emotional intensity allows you to read people with eerie accuracy. You can walk into a room and instantly feel the tension, the unspoken sadness, or the hidden anger in others. You are an emotional sponge, absorbing the atmosphere around you. While this makes you incredibly empathetic, it also means you get overwhelmed and drained easily. You might have been told you were too sensitive as a child, but the truth is your heart is simply as powerful as your mind. You weren't being dramatic, you were just processing more data than the people around you could perceive. 3. They question everything, not to rebel, but to understand. Why isn't just a question for the gifted mind, it's a way of life. You likely grew up challenging rules, beliefs, and explanations. You didn't do this to be a rebel, and you didn't do it because you wanted attention. You did it because your brain refuses to accept half answers. To a gifted mind, an illogical rule feels like a physical irritation. You seek the truth at a deeper level, and this often makes you look rebellious or complicated to people who are comfortable with the status quo. If you grew up in an environment where you had to be the adult, this questioning was your survival mechanism. You had to figure out the world because the people who were supposed to guide you couldn't provide the logic you needed. This constant search for truth is a gift, but it makes the world feel like an exhausting place when you're surrounded by people who are happy to just follow the script. 4. Their biggest enemy lives inside their own mind, and its name is perfectionism. Gifted people don't chase perfection because it looks good to others. They chase it because anything less doesn't feel right. Because you can see exactly what something could be, the ideal version of a project, a relationship, or yourself, the reality often feels like a disappointment. Your expectations are sky high, and you are the first to criticize yourself when you fall short. This perfectionism is what pushes you to achieve great things, but it's also what creates constant pressure, burnout, and endless self-doubt. You aren't just trying to be the best, you're trying to satisfy a vision that only you can see. It is a constant battle between your potential and your reality, and learning to forgive yourself for being human is often the hardest lesson a gifted mind ever has to learn. 5. They often feel like outsiders. Gifted people often feel like outsiders. This isn't because they can't fit in, but because they don't belong everywhere. You crave depth. You want deep conversations, deep connections, and deep meaning. Because of this, surface-level friendships drain you. Small talk doesn't just bore you, it feels like a waste of the limited energy you have. Crowds can feel loud, but incredibly empty. You're looking for people who speak your language, not a literal language, but the language of intensity, ideas, and curiosity. When you meet someone who operates on that same frequency, the connection feels instant, almost spiritual. But until you find those people, you might spend a lot of time feeling lonely in a room full of people. You're not antisocial, you're just waiting for a conversation that actually matters. Number 6, their mind never turns off. Even when your body sits still, your mind never turns off. It is constantly analyzing, imagining, and planning. You are overthinking the past, constructing future worlds in your head, and studying the people around you. It's an exciting way to live, but it is also exhausting. Your brain is a high-performance engine that doesn't have an off switch. This leads to many gifted people struggling with sleep or feeling a constant sense of mental restlessness. You feel like you are always on the verge of a breakthrough or always one thought away from solving a problem that doesn't even exist yet. It is a mental universe that never stops expanding, and while that makes you a visionary, it also means you have to work twice as hard as everyone else just to find a moment of peace. The truth is, being gifted has nothing to do with grades, certificates, or how well you did in school. Many gifted people actually struggle in traditional systems because those systems weren't built for depth, they were built for compliance. Being gifted is about the way you think, feel, learn, and connect with the world. It's about the intensity of your inner life. It is a gift, but it is also a heavy weight to carry. If you spent your childhood growing up too fast, you likely used your giftedness to survive, to manage your environment, and to take care of others. But now it's time to use that mind for yourself. If any of this felt familiar to you, it's because your mind works on a level that most people will never fully understand. You are not too much, and you are not broken. You are simply built for a different kind of depth. If you want to continue exploring the psychology of who you are and why you see the world this way, hit that subscribe button. You're not just joining a channel, you're joining a community of people who are tired of living on the surface. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.